Ottawa has moved to end labor action at ports in both BC and Quebec. And for more, here's our money expert, Rubina Ahmed-Haq. Rubina, good morning. Labor Minister has ordered a resumption of all operations at all of the ports and have moved the talks now to binding arbitration. Why has the federal government, why have they taken this action?
It's the timing of when this is happening and also the amount of money that comes through these ports, especially the BC ports. They're putting that number at more than $900 million a day. And this is at a time where we're moving into the holidays, retailers' biggest time. And if they don't get those products on the shelves, they're not going to make their bottom line. So it is a crucial time for everything to be moving smoothly. And this is why we've seen the government step in, because the two sides are saying that they simply cannot come to an agreement. The government saying you have to do it.
Canada Post is in a legal strike position come Friday. What kind of impact would a postal strike have on the Canadian economy, Rubina?
So a postal strike, during this time, a lot of people send gifts and cards through the post. This is the busiest time for Canada Post. It would be a very unfortunate time for them to be striking and off the job. Many people would then have to turn to other ways to get packages across the country, across the globe. We know that there are other ways that you can move merchandise, but Canada Post has been losing a lot of money. And even from a reputational perspective, this is not a good time for them to be off, because a lot of people may go to another source and then never come back to Canada Post. And Canada Post has been losing a lot of money. And if they do strike, they stand to lose even more.
All right. Not sure if you've heard, this might be breaking news, but to Taylor Swift coming to Canada, Rubina. We're less than 24 hours away from Taylor hitting the stage here in Canada. Can you try to quantify for us the economic impact we expect to see in both Toronto and later on in Vancouver from the tour?
So Destination Toronto put out some numbers of what they expect the economic impact is going to be on the city. And they're saying it's going to be more than $280 million because of Taylor Swift coming to the city. And that includes, of course, obvious things like restaurants and hotels. But also some people may come from across the globe, across the country, and stay in Toronto and go to the CN Tower or go to another concert or go do other things where they'll be spending money. And there's also the tax revenue that is going to be generated. $40 million they're expecting to go into municipal, provincial, and federal coffers. And so this is not something that is a small economic impact. This is something that is going to really, at a time where tourism is not very high in Toronto in the middle of November, hotels are saying they're 100% at capacity. Normally at this time, they're about 35% at capacity. So it just gives you an idea of how much money this is going to bring in.
And, I was reading this morning as well that they've tracked the tickets, and outside of the U.S. and Canada, there are people coming from 47 other countries, they believe, for this tour over the next couple of weeks. And it's the Toronto dates are the second highest selling next to Miami of the entire tour.
Wow. Canadians left here to see it elsewhere for cheaper prices, but people are coming here.
Coming here now,
wow. Okay. Want to ask you this before we let you go, Rubina. Money continues to pour into cryptocurrency following Trump's victory last week. In fact, Bitcoin just hit a record high. So people wondering, is this a good time to invest?
So cryptocurrency is still one of the unknowns of whether this is something that people, what kind of cryptocurrency that people should be investing in. I do not give investment advice, but I do say that if you are investing in it, look at it for the long term. Is this something that you think that is going to be used in our everyday lives 10 years from now? If you're confident of that, then go ahead and invest. There's a lot of different ways that you can invest in cryptocurrency now. You don't have to actually buy the actual Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever it is that you want to buy. You can buy an exchange traded fund that follows the performance of these different cryptocurrencies. That may be a safer bet than trying to buy the actual Bitcoin, which is now over $70,000 US, and then keeping that code and making sure that you keep it safe. Talk to your financial advisor and talk to them about your own personality before you start getting invested in this.
All right. Good advice as always. Rubina, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for this.
Thanks for having me.